Hi. So there are various formulas people consider while prompting, which the formula which we have chosen is RT-CFC formula. So this formula will help you write an effective prompt. So RT-CFC. The R stands for role. What do you want the AI to act as? Suppose you are dealing with a biology subject. So you can write ki act as an expert biology teacher. Suppose you are designing something, so you can write act as a designer. Or you want some feedback from a civil engineering point of view, so you have to write act as a civil engineer. T stands for task. You have to be clear what do you want. Context. What are the background details? Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. But suppose you want AI to provide you some information, it's better if you can also provide the context to which you are referring to. Suppose you are talking about some topic, suppose in chemistry, aldol condensation. So if you are a teacher, you want to teach a new topic Y, and you have just taught the topic X. And if you think the topic is difficult, you can give a context that my students have just learned this concept. Now I'm going to teach this. So a little bit of context may help AI to provide the content which is in continuation with the previous topic. F stands for format. Which format do you want? Table chahiye, fill in the blanks chahiye, MCQ chahiye, you want one word, whatever. And C stands for constraints. What should it avoid? You want in 100 words, you want 200 words, you want in English, you want for 40 minutes plan. So we will do some prompt engineering of various topics and we will get to know. So have a look on this formula RT-CFC: role, task, context, format, constraints. While giving a prompt, try to include these elements to get effective results. Now, let's compare these two prompts. So write a lesson about history. It's too generic. History of which class? Which topic? Is there any time limit? Is there any format? No. Let's look at a good prompt. You are a middle school history teacher. Okay, that's a role. Create a detailed lesson plan for a 40-minute class. Okay, so he has written about the time duration. On the topic French Revolution, so the topic is also mentioned. Include one collaborative activity and two discussion questions. So as you can see, the instruction in this prompt is very clear. आपको क्या चाहिए? The instructor here wants one collaborative activity, discussion questions. So this will depend on the subject. If you are a history teacher, you may need a different kind of stuff in your classroom. If you're a science teacher, you may need a different kind of stuff. So you have to prompt accordingly. Present the output in a clear chronological table. So it's more specific. So have you identified the RT-CFC in this? Let's identify role, task, context, format, constraint in this prompt. So you are a middle school history teacher is a role. Create a detailed lesson plan for a 40-minute. So this is the task. 40-minute can also be considered as a constraints. It's not necessary that all things needs to be in a proper order, but try to include all these elements. Sometimes the order may go idhar-udhar. This is the topic. Include one collaborative activity and two discussion questions is the clear-cut task. Present in a output in a chronological table. So this is the format. Let's see the difference between these two outputs. So what I am going to do is first I will type write a lesson plan about history. So I have opened ChatGPT and here I have just pasted the first prompt. Let's see. So it has given me a lesson plan topic, class, subject, duration, learning objectives, introduction, background, activity, evaluation, homework. Fine. Let's try this prompt. So in the first task, we have not given the name of the topic. So it was shot in the dark. it has automatically taken any topic of independence movement. But see, why this is much better? Because you have got a table. So now you have to decide which stuff you should take, which stuff you have to avoid. So lesson, what are the activities, student activities. So this is a more better picture, I must say. Now, can you identify what is the issue in this? So this will be your next activity. You have to identify the issues in these prompts. If you're prompting that write a short speech for morning assembly, it will not make sense. What you should write? You should write you are a student or a teacher who is going to give the speech. If you are giving a speech, how long it is? You want it to be 10-minute speech, 2-minute speech. So these are the two important elements which is missing in the task 1. Now in task 2, you want to generate practice questions, but on which topic? How many questions you want? Anything else? Do you want it in MCQ or fill in the blanks? So this is how you have to add the important elements in your prompt to get the more effective results. Now, this is the activity in which you are a doctor. So these are some prompts which are sick, and as a doctor you have to identify the issues in it. What is missing? You have to cure this by adding the missing elements. So this will be your homework. So in this video you have learned that prompt is about giving clear instructions. So in the next video we will be exploring more advanced techniques.